This is a juicy but surprisingly research-backed topic. How can you tell if a man has slept with a lot of women? Now, of course, there's no magic X-ray vision for body count, and men are notoriously unreliable when asked directly. In fact, a 2017 study in the Journal of Sex Research found that both men and women tend to lie upward or downward depending on what they think makes them look better. So instead of asking, let's look at the subtle signs, the behaviors, the attitudes, the little giveaways that might suggest a man has a long romantic resume. And don't worry, this will be fun and a little bit educational. Sign number 1, he's overly smooth with women. You know that guy who seems to know exactly what to say, when to say it, and how to make women feel comfortable almost instantly. That's often a big clue. According to a 2010 study from the University of Oxford, men with higher partner counts tend to have stronger social intelligence and faster rapport building skills. Basically, practice makes perfect. But beware, sometimes smoothness isn't natural, it's rehearsed. If every compliment feels like it's being tested in a lab, it probably has. He probably tested it on quite a few women before you. Sign number 2, he's weirdly comfortable with casual touch. One subtle sign is how relaxed he is with physical closeness. A man who has been with lots of women often doesn't hesitate with little gestures, hand on the lower back, brushing hair away, sitting close without awkwardness. Psychologists call this kinesthetic escalation, and is a skill often learned through trial and error. If he's smooth here, chances are he's had practice. And here's a fun fact. A 2016 study in evolutionary psychology found that men with higher sexual histories tend to score higher in social sexual orientation, basically meaning they are comfortable with fast moving intimacy. Sign number 3, his friend group knows. Pay attention to how his friends react. If they roll their eyes, make little jokes, or tease him around women, that's a social giveaway. Guys rarely spell it out, but a man's reputation with his circle usually says more than his words. And studies on peer perception dating back to the 1990s show that male peer groups actually reinforce high partner counts as status symbols. So if he's got the reputation, his friends will often hint at it. Sign number 4, he doesn't get jealous easily. Interestingly, men with more sexual experience often shows less jealousy in early relationships. Why? Because they've been around the block. They know attraction is fluid, and they are not as threatened. A 2014 paper in Personality and Individual Differences noted that men with higher body counts had lower mate guarding tendencies. Translation: he's less likely to freak out if you mention your gym body. That can feel refreshing or suspicious depending on how you see it. Sign number 5, he drops hints without realizing. Ever notice a guy telling random stories where women just happen to appear? Like, yay, when I was traveling in Spain, this girl I was with, or my ex used to say, things like that. Men who have dated or slept with many women often cannot avoid referencing them in conversations. It's not bragging, it's just life experience seeping out. One 2008 sociological study actually noted that people with larger dating histories unconsciously pepper their language with more relationship references. It's like leaving breadcrumbs without meaning to. Sign number 6, he's strangely detached. A man who has been intimate with lots of partners sometimes treats sex as less emotionally significant. Not always, but often. In psychology, this is tied to something called erotic plasticity, how flexible someone's view of sex is. Research from 2012 showed that men with higher partner counts often have a more casual, is just fun attitude towards sex. So if he's charming, attractive, and yet oddly calm about the whole thing, it might be because this isn't exactly new territory to him. Sign number 7, he knows the logistics. Okay, now this one's cheeky but real. A guy with lots of experience usually knows the little things. Which dates are easy setups, how to read signals, when to call versus text, even small details like carrying gum or knowing which wine most women order. That is not random, it's experience. Think of it like a man who cooked the same dish 100 times. He doesn't just wing it, he refined it. Sign number 8, he moves on quickly. Finally, men who have had lots of partners often don't dwell on one fling. They bounce back fast, not because they are heartless, but because they have trained themselves not to over-attach. A 2019 meta-analysis found that higher body count was correlated with shorter relationship rebound times. Basically, less heartbreak, more forward momentum. Sign number 9, he won't introduce you to friends or family. This one is very important. One more big clue, he keeps you separate from his inner circle. If a man has had a lot of casual relationships, he often avoids bringing women home to meet friends or family. Why? Because introductions imply commitment. They suggest he sees you as more than just a passing fling. Sociologists have found that integrating a partner into one's social network is one of the strongest predictors of long-term commitment. A 2005 study published in Social Psychological and Personality Science showed that people who introduced partners to family were far more likely to move into serious relationship. So if he's charming, fun, and maybe even affectionate, but months go by and you're still a secret guest star, that's not just caution. That's often the sign of someone who is used to short-term flings and doesn't want to complicate his life by weaving you into it. Bonus points are, you find condoms everywhere around him. This simply means he's ready for sex at every opportunity. That's a sign. Also, he's always very horny and wants sex on his first date. That's a sign. So now we've covered the big 9, from smooth talk and casual touch all the way to the ultimate clue, whether or not you're actually part of his world, with additional bonus points. Remember, none of these signs are foolproof, but when you start to see patterns, they can tell you a lot about his past and even more about what he might want in the future. Also, if he tells you himself, I've slept with a lot of women, then that's the major proof that he's actually slept with a lot of women. At the end of the day, the real question isn't about how many women he's been with, it's whether he's showing up for you. It's also about his intentions towards you. So yes, read his intentions, watch out for his intentions. I will see you in my next video.